Okay, hold on a second. How many stalker enemies do we have in this game? So Dr. Salvador is gonna be a stalker enemy. The Big Cheese is gonna be a stalker enemy, and Salazar's right hand is gonna be another stalker enemy. Looks like we have 3 stalker enemies, and the Gyarados also, you can't kill them. You can only knock them down, which makes them somehow also stalkers. So 4 stalker enemies? I think that's too much. Hey there, welcome back to the second video of my thoughts about Resident Evil 4 Remake, leaks, rumors, and news. If you haven't watched my first video, make sure to check that. So without killing time, let's watch the 3 remaining videos that I couldn't finish the previous time. So this one says RE4 Remake secret nobody is talking about. Sounds interesting.
With Resident Evil 4 being on the horizon, many fans keep wondering if it is going to feel the same way as the original. One important thing that Resident Evil 4 had, and 5 and 6 went on with, was the laser sights. But Resident Evil 4 Remake seems different now. Or does it? Stick till the end to find out.
Wait, Leon's gun didn't have a laser? That's true. I didn't notice that in the trailer.
Resident Evil 4 Remake was easily the worst kept secret ever. Just see the changes VR did to the game. Additional mercenaries, new menu, new modes to add to the replayability, and in this case, the customizations of the lasers. But what are they actually doing with the remake? Sure, it is the same control scheme as Resident Evil 2 and 3 Remake, except for the crouch mechanic and holstering your gun. Well, what would you say if I told you the game would change 180 degrees if they don't implement laser sights?
Exactly.
From what I can see, I would say they are not going with the laser sights. See here for yourself. The official footages and screenshots. They're obviously going without the laser sights on that supposedly silver ghost. But so far, the gameplay is showing nothing related to the lasers. All we can hope for is to have a fully customizable laser sight, just like Resident Evil 6.
So maybe the laser is something that you can buy from the merchant. I mean, it's a customizable extra for your handgun that you can buy, and you can also use it on your Punisher, on your Red 9, on your, I don't know, other guns. Maybe that's the case. Maybe that's why the gun didn't have a laser in the trailer, because Luis's gun did have a laser. So maybe that's something we have to buy from the merchant, or maybe that's something that we turn on or off. Removing it from the game, no, I'm not down for it.
Some new Resident Evil 4 Remake leaks came out just a couple of days ago, and I gotta say they're pretty insane. It said that Krauser is not cut from the game and his character is being vastly expanded in, quote, a very interesting way. He's actually not the one who's going to kidnap Ashley, and the Leon Krauser knife fight still remains the same. It's also rumored that Luis will get expanded lore showing flashbacks of scenes with his grandfather Miguel Serra. JJ, the Ganado.
In the first minute of this video, I got so many mind-blowing details. So Krauser not cutting from the game, okay, but he's not the one who kidnaps Ashley. A knife fight remains in the game, okay. Luis is gonna have flashbacks of his grandfather, Miguel, I think his name was Miguel Serra, which I think, this is an interesting theory, which I think Miguel Serra is gonna be the merchant. That might not be true in Resident Evil 4 Remake if we actually see Miguel, but in Resident Evil 4 Original, that was a theory, and it was a very popular theory, and it also made sense to me because the merchant was the one who could go to different parts of the village and the island and the castle without being seen.
JJ, the Ganado who wields the minigun, is set to be cut from the game, but the rocket launcher Ganado return untouched. Regenerators are going to have a scarier design, and the first Iron Maiden that Leon encounters will actually have a scientist impaled on its spikes.
Okay, so regenerators have a scarier design is the second one, it's the second time that I'm hearing someone saying this. So maybe this is not just a rumor. Maybe it's more than a rumor.
It's also rumored that Salazar will still be a dwarf, however he will have a much more twisted personality. This time, however, Salazar will only have one vertigo that will be a stalker enemy. Similar to Mr. X, you're able to take him down, but you're not actually able to kill him because he later merges with Salazar.
Okay, hold on a second. How many stalker enemies do we have in this game? So Dr. Salvador is gonna be a stalker enemy. The Big Cheese is gonna be a stalker enemy, and Salazar's right hand is gonna be another stalker enemy. Looks like we have 3 stalker enemies, and the Gyarados also. I saw it in the previous video that the Gyarados, you can't kill them, you can only knock them down, which makes them somehow also stalkers. So 4 stalker enemies, I think that's too much.
Mendez is said to have an expanded storyline, and he will again be similar to Mr. X, as he stalks you throughout the village portion of the game. He will still retain his final form as a centipede monster, and the barn fight has returned unchanged. The Lagos boss fight is also said to be entirely reworked and will function similar to Moreau's boss fight in Resident Evil Village. You will still get the jump scare if you shoot the water, however this time it's not actually able to kill you. Ashley's segment is also rumored to be significantly longer, and she's able to defend herself with a knife and also have the ability to throw different objects at enemies. Lastly, 2 demos are said to release in January of 2023, being 1 village demo and 1 castle demo. Now, if I had to give my honest opinion on these leaks, I'd say they sound great, however they're maybe a little bit too great. After all the leaks that have come out in the past that tried to disappoint fans by stating that there would be tremendous amount of cut content, this just seems like it's kinda trying to be the opposite of that, so that it'll hopefully be well received and seem more believable. However, that's just my opinion, but let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed these crazy RE4 remake.
Okay. So when I was watching the first video, which was this one, they said that there's gonna be so much cut content, but as I get further and further, not only there's not gonna be cut content, but they're gonna add 8 different enemies, new locations, I don't know, DLCs about characters' pasts and side stories. So this game not only is gonna cut content, but it's gonna add so much more content to the main game, which is crazy if the rumors are true actually.
Leaks. While you're at it, why don't you check out these 8 most disturbing Resident Evil backstories? I promise it'll put a chill down your spine, but thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Okay, let's watch the last one.
We received some new leaks regarding the RE4 remake. Some of these leaks, if true, would quite honestly ruin the game and lead to so much fan backlash. The next leak states that Ashley no longer follows Leon throughout levels. Instead, she hides inside special safe rooms. This is because the devs wanted to avoid player frustrations with the AI. When a new special save room is reached, a chase sequence begins. Leon must return to Ashley's location and escort her to the next. Chases are unique and depend on the area. For example, Salazar's right hand appears during one of these sequences in the castle, tailing you throughout, only giving up once the new save room is reached. So in my personal opinion, this is great for a couple reasons. Not only are they removing any player frustrations with escorting Ashley, but they're taking this frustrating aspect and turning it into a thrilling and scary experience. As we know, the original wasn't really that scary at all, so adding in new details like this to make the remake a little more thrilling will go a long way. Moving on, it states that
Okay, so I kinda like this idea and mechanism because it's more accurate to the reality. I mean, imagine the daughter of the United States president is really kidnapped somewhere and some agent is there to rescue her. It makes more sense if they just hide her somewhere until they make the room safe and then bring her back, instead of Resident Evil 4 original, which Ashley was behind Leon all the time. So if, for example, someone's shooting or someone wants to attack Leon, if they miss, they actually hit Ashley, which is behind us, and that doesn't make any sense to me. But here I think this looks more like a escort mission or a rescue mission, and I kind of like this idea.
that the merchant returns untouched. Lore was planned to be established but was cut, as to keep him mysterious. However, he now has a Spanish accent. Okay, is it just me, or does this sound completely dumb? Why would they take out the iconic Australian accent we all know and love from the merchant? I mean, sure, you're probably not going to be able to find the same voice actor from the original, but I feel like they could easily find someone that sounds pretty similar.
You know what? Merchant's voice actors was Leon's voice actor. I don't know if you know this, but they had the same voice actor. But I'm not sure if they're gonna find the same person. I'm not sure if he's still around in the business. Changing his accent, I think that's not too much of a big deal. We are talking about big stuff here. So changing Merchant's accent, I think it's not gonna ruin the game, but cutting him from the game, it will ruin the game. So please leave Merchant alone. Okay?
Next up, it states that Krauser has been entirely cut from the game for being overly confusing. Okay, this sounds absolutely terrible. If this is true, then I will tell you right now that Capcom is going to bomb this remake. If they plan on cutting Krauser, a character who had such a prominent role in the original, then that means they will be okay with cutting even more content.
We have two different types of rumors about Krauser. One saying that he's completely cut from the game, and the other saying that he has a completely new design. I think just because two different teams were working on the game, both these rumors could be true. Krauser being cut from the game, maybe it belongs to the time that M2 was in charge of Resident Evil 4 Remake. Because first they were in charge and then they were pushed aside, and Capcom Dev 1 team was in charge of Resident Evil 4 Remake. So I think Krauser being cut from the game belongs to the time that M2 team was in charge of Resident Evil 4, because they are known for cutting content, and they are known for cutting important content, like what they did in Resident Evil 3 Remake. But Krauser having a new design, I think that belongs to now, that Dev 1 team is in charge of Resident Evil 4, and I think this one's more reliable.
Next leak states that Luis has his character vastly expanded, replacing Krauser. He helps Leon and Ashley treat their Plagas infections with medication out of guilt for orchestrating her capture. Leon finds out Luis is responsible via a computer terminal in the castle. Afterwards, at the point of the game where Luis was originally killed, instead he's implanted with a much more powerful Plaga that controls the nervous system entirely. Luis mutates into a Birkin-type creature and begins pursuing Leon throughout the remainder of the castle. He is fully lucid, begging Leon to stop him. He mutates continuously and is eventually killed on the island. This more powerful Plagas is responsible for a new type of enemy in the castle. Rather than sprouting a Plagas head, some enemies will have their upper half fall apart, mutating similar to Luis. Garradors are one such enemy that will use this new type of Plaga, as they no longer have a functional face or head. Leon collapses due to the infection while midway through the castle, forcing Ashley to take his pistol from his holster and retrieve medication they dropped while running from Salazar's right hand.
Wow.
During this segment, Ashley becomes more sure of herself, gets familiar with parrying, and recovers medication, reviving Leon. So this all sounds pretty good.
That's interesting.
I'm not so sure about the different perspective on Salazar. Looks like we're just gonna have to wait and see how that goes. Next, it states that the Novistador segment has been removed.
Okay, every rumor that I see says Novistadors are removed from the game. And I think it's now more than a rumor. I think it's a fact now. So we're not gonna see these creatures in the game, which I think kinda makes sense to me. Like it's 50-50. If I see them in the game, I'm not gonna be happy, and if I don't see them in the game, I'm not gonna be mad or sad or angry. Because the enemies in the game are based on real creatures. So for example, Genados are real people. Regenerators are real people who've been infected with different plagas. The El Gigante is a regenerator who got mutated. Everything is just makes sense to me, but Novistadors, I mean, an insect as big as a human that can be invisible, that's not real. So they being cut from the game, That's okay.
Instead, Leon must fight a pursuer enemy called the Jester, a prisoner who has been locked below the castle infected with an original plaga. She has been alive for centuries, meaning she is sickly and mutated, and uses a spear to hunt you. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, this actually does sound pretty cool, and it also makes a lot of sense. I'm pretty sure we can all agree that the Novistadors were so annoying to deal with in the original, so honestly, I'm totally okay with them removing this segment. From there, it goes on to say that the Ada encounter is roughly the same, but she is less standoffish. She assists you by pointing her laser ahead of you while you navigate through the maze to point out upcoming enemies hiding in the bushes. The island has been almost entirely converted into being a lab segment. It is roughly untouched compared to the original game's Regenerator segment, but is majorly extended. The last 30 minutes are a long chase sequence. The first part is a roughly translated truck sequence from the original game's island, ending with the encounter against Sadler. The ending of the game is roughly the same, but Wesker is more prominent. Okay, so if you haven't seen my last video, I actually talked about this. I feel like Wesker would be a great boss fight in the remake. Not only does everyone love Wesker, but he also appeared during Ada's story a lot, so I feel like adding him in the actual game would kind of make a lot of sense.
No, it doesn't make sense, and I explained about it. Because if he appear in the game, then the whole idea of sending Ada and Krauser doesn't make any sense. I mean, if you want to send those two instead of yourself to get the sample, then why do you show up? Why do you put yourself in danger and show up in that area? And if you want to go there, okay, go there, but why do you want to fight Leon? Because you're there for the sample, so you have to go and fight Sadler. Wesker making an appearance in this game doesn't make any sense to me, so let's just move on.
States that Ada boards an Apache now, with Wesker on board. Leon still escapes via jet ski. Mercenaries makes a return, with Luis replacing Krauser as a playable character. Once again, I hope that Krauser being cut is not the case, but we'll just have to wait and see. Mendez has been renamed to Mr. Mendez. His fight remains roughly the same, and the village map is roughly the same as well. Moving on, it states one of the most important and time-consuming aspects of development has been the game's overall tone, and replicating RE4's B-movie atmosphere. Next, the leaker states that they saw the game being tested on a PS4 and PS5. The game does have some performance issues on previous gen consoles, which is partially why the Novistadors were cut. The Salazar statue remains. This time it's controlled via a gigantic plaga. This chase can be prevented by using a difficult to find switch on the back of its neck. Moving on, it goes on to say that Leon's relationship with Ashley is essentially the same as the original Resident Evil 4, but he is more caring and tender towards Ashley. So guys, that was all the leaks on the page. You can take what you want out of it, but at the end of the day, nothing is set in stone until it gets confirmed, which most of these leaks have yet to do. Make sure to let me know your own personal thoughts on these leaks down in the comments below, and with that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Okay, thank you so much, Evil Blitz and everybody else who I checked their videos. These are crazy rumors, some of them good, some of them bad, but I'm just gonna enjoy the game, because right now I know that if they cut a content or if they change anything, they do it on purpose. It's Capcom Dev 1 team, we trust them, we know that they did some great jobs, they created great games. And another thing that I don't think is gonna be in the game is the Ditman glitch and that famous cardboard cutout of someone that was hidden in a place of the game that you had to go out of bound to see it. Those two things, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm 100% sure that they're not gonna make it return, but if Capcom developers actually put them in the game, you know, it would be interesting. It would be amazing. That's my personal thoughts. That would be something that they put out just for speedrunners, because that's so iconic, the Ditman glitch. And that's it. Here's my review and my thoughts about Resident Evil 4 Remake leaks. If there was an update to these videos, I'll make sure to put an update in this channel as well. And thank you so much for watching. See you around.